Hi guys, and welcome back to Gardens and Grace. Today the kids and I are going to plant out the planter in our front yard, and this space has been pretty empty for a while. So we've got some seeds that are flower seeds, we've got some seeds that are vegetable seeds, and we're going to try to plant out this space using the square foot gardening method. To get started, the first thing I'm doing is just raking off the top layer of wood chips. There's a lot of wood chips in this space. There hadn't been anything growing in it. So I start moving the wood chips to the side. I don't want to take them out of the planter because I want the wood chips to break down over time. So instead what I'm doing is just kind of moving them behind this big bush that's in the front of my house. They're still in the planter and they're going to break down and create humus over time. But for right now, I need to get them out of the way so I can expose the dirt. And as I do, I realize that it's mostly sand. So I have bought some garden soil. You guys will see me dump that in here shortly. But first I want to get rid of the wood chips, and then I go back through and start taking out this first top layer of sand because it is all sand. I'm also kind of looking to see if there's any humus already, if any of the wood chips have broken down and created a viable growing medium. I don't see much. I see mostly sand. So that's why I go ahead and grab my garden soil. I'm using a all-purpose organic garden soil in this space. It's made specifically for vegetables, but you really could use anything that you wanted. Now, I prefer organic because that way it kind of helps me feel more at ease about the soil that I'm putting into the ground, and hopefully does not contain any chemicals that I don't want affecting my plants. But the kids and I go ahead and just dump out a few bags of soil. We're just adding nutrients to that top layer, and you'll see my stepdaughter here packing the ground down. That's really important because we want good contact for our seeds. We want our seeds to have good contact with the soil. So she's taking a minute to just pat the soil down and make sure that everything is level. And this is the really cool thing about gardening together. I've kind of stepped out of the frame for a minute to catch my breath because I was getting tired after all that raking. But here comes my stepson bringing the soil to add to the garden planter. I got my stepdaughter out here patting the soil down and making sure everything's level. And now I can come back through after my break with some fertilizer. I'm using a good organic fertilizer in this space, and I'm using something that's specifically for vegetables, but you don't necessarily have to. I would buy something on sale if you could get it. And the important thing for me was that it was organic. Now you could use a synthesized fertilizer like Miracle Grow, and that would work just fine. I just prefer the organic to make sure that, again, there's not all the chemicals in there that I don't want my plants coming in contact with. So now that we've got the fertilizer laid down, we have the soil in the space, we have fertilizer laid down, I'm going to take the rake. My stepson starts to try, but I'm still teaching him how to rake well. So I take the rake, and what I'm really doing is I'll kind of rake it in that very first top layer of the soil. I don't want to dig it in very deep. So for me, the best way to do that is to use the back of the rake. So you'll see here that I'm kind of just using the back of the rake to kind of mix up that top layer, maybe half inch to an inch of soil. And then I go back through and I use my rake to pat the soil down. And once again, I'm doing this to help once we plant the seeds, that they would get good soil contact. They would get good contact with the soil. When all of that's done, it's time to water everything in. I really like this method of watering before I plant. A lot of people will actually plant and then water, but with this soil, it was just really dry. And then once I added the fertilizer and the fact that there was sand underneath, it was just the dirt was so dry that I felt like watering beforehand would give me the best possible germination rate. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to plant our seeds. Now, you'll see here that we have a little bowl, and we mixed a bunch of seeds up in that little bowl. I have some vegetable seeds here, I have some flower seeds here, they're all kinds of different sizes, and I decided just to take a bunch of packs of seeds and mix them all up together. Now you could be a lot more uniform when you do it if that's important to you, but we kind of wanted something wild, and we wanted to experiment and see how things grow. So again, we've mixed up a bunch of seeds, put them in a bowl, and now we're going to use the square foot gardening method to plant them. And so you'll see my stepdaughter here going through with a little dibble to create a planting hole to put the seeds in. Now we're putting the smaller seeds in the holes on the outside the 4 holes on the outside, and we're putting the larger seeds in the middle. We don't expect everything to germinate, and we probably will have to come back through and thin depending on what sprouts up, but we like the idea of a surprise for what might be growing in this space. So we decided to just, like I said, mix all the seeds up, plant the smaller seeds on the outside edges and the larger seeds on the inside. We're planting flowers and vegetable seeds in this space, so I really like the idea of something called foodscaping, and it's this thought process that vegetables are beautiful, and growing vegetables alongside flowers creates a functional space, a productive space, and adds a lot of beauty to the garden. So we're trying that. We're going to throw the vegetable seeds and the flower seeds all into this space as one. And we're going to see what comes up and what grows well. So a lot of this is kind of experimenting, and that's okay. And you'll see here that my stepdaughter has been very diligent about pressing the square into the soil. Again, we want to have good soil contact with our seeds. So as we plant them, we want them to be able to take root and grow and develop deep roots. At this point, we're about halfway through our planting. So I've cut a lot of the footage out. You'll see it looks like this only took us a few minutes, but it actually took us a couple of hours. So by this point, we're all getting a little bit tired. But you'll notice that as we plant in one section, and my stepdaughter picks up the little square and moves it to the next section, and we use the lines to tell us exactly where it should go. I go behind her and just start covering the dirt over the holes and then patting them down, once again, to get that good soil contact for the seeds to be able to germinate in. So this is nice, fluffy soil. It's been amended with fertilizer. It's a good growing medium with garden soil, and also we've taken the time to water very deeply, very well. So this is good, moist soil. It's starting to get kind of warm outside, so this is the perfect environment for our seeds to germinate in. And since we live in Florida, we have a very long growing season. We can probably actually grow all year long if we want to. So we're going to be changing out this space seasonally, adding new things, seeing, and like I said, a lot of it is experimenting. So we're going to be seeing what works, what looks good in this space, what's productive in this space, and what we enjoy having here. And after less than a week, our little baby seeds are beginning to germinate. And we're really excited to see how this space fills in over the next couple of months. So I hope you guys will hang out with us throughout the growing season. We've got a lot more to do. We got a lot more planting happening. We've got a lot of cooking that we're going to be doing over the next couple of months, and a lot of new content coming out. So again, I hope you guys hang out with us, and thank you guys so much for watching today.
If you made it this far in the video, first, thank you for watching. And second, please consider liking and subscribing. It will help ensure that you see all of our content as it comes out. It will also tell YouTube that you found value in this video, thereby pushing it out to more people. And if you found value in it, maybe somebody else will as well. Also, if you're new around here, please consider leaving a comment down below. We're trying to create community. I try to respond to as many comments as I possibly can. And I'd like to know that you're here and that you're with us and you're part of our community. And I would like to just be able to say hello to you. So please leave a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching.